I'm Cameron, and happy birthday to the Navy. Navy turns 244 years old today, so give it a happy birthday and drink up. Yeah, yeah, right. Like, oh yeah, wanted we wanted to wish the Navy a happy birthday. We started to sing, and then Facebook was like, "You can't do that." That's that's ridiculous. It's happy birthday, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that song's been around forever. What are we gonna do? I'm gonna keep singing happy birthday to whoever the hell I want. Oh God. So
That's
we
ridiculous.
finally
It's
got some
happy
more
birthday,
story
ladies and
follow
gentlemen.
up on the Jeffrey Epstein case. Jennifer Arrows, who states that Epstein began grooming her for sex when she was only 14 years old, has started giving names, including 4 women and over 20 corporate defendants. Jennifer Arrows says she wants justice not just against Mr. Epstein's estate, but the network of enablers that surrounded him and the network of corporate interests that surrounded him. Jeffrey Epstein had died 2 days after signing his will, putting his $577 million estate into a trust. Jennifer's lawyer, Daniel Kaiser, said it should be obvious to any judge that this was a fraudulent effort to keep his money away from his victims. The 4 women's names are Giselle Maxwell, a lifetime confidant, Leslie Groff, a former secretary, Kimberly Espinoza, former executive assistant, and Rosalind Fontanilla, a former maid who had passed away. Maxwell's lawyers had denied any involvement in the sex trafficking. Ayers accused the defendants of conspiring to identify and acquire a steady flow of underage girls. Ayers participated with and assisted Epstein in maintaining and protecting his sex trafficking ring, ensuring that approximately 3 girls a day were made available for him and for his sexual pleasure. Arrows claims she was recruited to give massages to Epstein in 2001, saying that he didn't use a condom while raping her for the next year, causing a panic disorder worsened by her father's death from AIDS. Yeah. So we finally got somebody else coming forward. We need to put a security detail on her because our next story should kind of tell you a little more about what's going on. Details of the autopsy have finally come forward about the Epstein autopsy, revealing multiple breaks in his neck, one of which was his hyoid bone located near the Adam's apple, which experts say can happen in suicide by hanging, but are more common in victims of homicide by strangulation. According to CBS News, there was a report of shouting and shrieking coming from his cell the morning he died. And then ex-inmate of the prison says it is impossible that he killed himself. The New York Times reported that the 2 people standing guards were substitutes and not normally correctional officers. It really does. That with reports of the shrieking, the screaming, and then another inmate coming forward and say it was absolutely impossible for him to do that to himself. Yeah, Dean, 100% agree. Don't let the Clintons pick the security detail at all. Yeah. So I told y'all we'd finally follow up, but it's getting harder and harder to find these stories, ladies and gentlemen. They are not wanting to let anything come forward on this. They're trying very hard to cover it up, and they're really pushing that impeachment more than anything. So I think they're just pushing as many distractions out there as possible to cover up what's really going on. but that's also a conspiracy theory. So I mean, so no, we're not. We're not in conspiracy corner. Honestly, I think what's going on really is led by the Clintons. Do we have proof of that yet? No, but there is a lot of sketchy stuff going on around that family. I have no idea. Dean, I can hear you. Dean, can you hear Athen? Yes. No idea. Is Dean, is he still having comms problems?
It's like I don't touch anything, but nothing stays the same.
He says no, but he says he can hear you now.
Okay, that's weird.
I don't know. All right, moving on. The Army has a new helicopter concept, and it looks like something straight out of Halo. For those of you that don't remember or are too old to care, that was a video game. Okay.
Halo.
The Bell 360 Invictus on Tuesday, the Textron company revealed the concept, showing a, and I quote, sporty new design based on existing technology, keeping it cheap to maintain as well as fly.
Is this in the story list on
Cam shows?
Alright.
It's all there.
I'm getting caught up with the stories in there real quick because
Yeah.
I was doing.
There he goes. What are you talking about, Dean? Is he going in and out of comms again? Yeah.
Can people not hear me? Can you hear me? Can you not hear me? I don't know what's going on here.
Okay. Well, I have no idea. The hell is that? He's good now. Okay, you're good now. You're good now.
That's weird. I bet it cuts out. I'm wondering. No, that couldn't be true.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna try and continue on peacefully from here. U.S. troops in northern Syria were fired upon by Turkish troops Friday night. The explosion was within a few hundred meters outside the security mechanism zone in an area that is known to have troops, American troops, by Turkish forces. No troops were injured, nor did it call for a withdrawal. The U.S. demands that Turkey avoid actions that could result in immediate defensive action. The U.S. is opposed to Turkish military moves into Syria and objects to operations outside the security zone. The U.S. force stated that the artillery attack was so heavy they considered firing back in self-defense. The Turkish Defense Ministry, however, released a statement refuting allegations that they had targeted U.S. forces.
So now we're having issues with Turkey.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yep. So Turkey's now not firing at us while still firing at us and doing the same thing as everybody else. They're just denying it. Like, no, we didn't do that. No. It's not us.
Right?
We're innocent.
No, we didn't do anything.
We're the good guys. We're your allies, man. Come on now. You should know better than that. No, we know better than to trust anybody.
Freaking, yeah. That's just gonna get bad.
Oh yeah.
I
mean, so I don't know. Turkey. I think we need to stop being Big Brother for about 6 months and just let everybody start knocking each other around. And then as soon as they start beating everybody else up, we jump in and go, okay, now what did I tell you?
What did I tell you?
I told you this was going to happen if I let you two come together.
Yeah.
I will turn this country around.
We will go straight back home.
I don't care the tickets are paid for already. No, I'm not going to deal with this. But you got to let them beat each other up for a while. We can't just keep staying out here and letting them get at us because we're doing something to stop them. Screw it. Let them beat each other up. Watch what happens. When it gets bad, we come in, grab them by the collars and go, now what happened? Did you learn from this?
Mm-hmm.
They bow their heads. They do the little foot shake in the dirt. Yes, sir.
You know that's not going to happen. And
no.
Sad part is, if we did let that shit happen, there would probably end up escalating to an even bigger situation, which is just stupid.
Yeah, nukes flying and shit.
Mm-hmm. Because, yeah,
why can't we all just get along?
Turkey's a nuclear-capable country, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. They don't have a lot, but they have some.
Yeah, but it'd be like a kid with a hand grenade.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, not as bad
all
as...
it takes is...
Oh, go ahead.
It only takes one stupid move for them to cause a lot of destruction.
Mm-hmm. It's like, it's not as bad as, say, you know, allowing North Korea to go unchecked, but it's still
North Korea is a kid with a button, man. Like he's wanting to push the button.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how many times you tell him not to, he's gonna keep trying to push the button.
Yeah. Ooh, what's this do?
Yeah. What can I do today to piss everybody off?
Just like an experiment I ran once in the Navy, is like literally you can place a button. Doesn't matter how freaking just, you know, weird and oddly this button is placed. You know, just everything about this button can be screaming no. If you do not push button on this button, someone will push the button. So
yes, Dad, I was that kid.
So when
I got called out by my father in the beginning of a show. That's great.
Right. So what we did this one time,
Cameron, don't do that. But Dad,
right? What we did this one time in the Navy is we took and we wired up a button, right? It's just a push button, but how it works is we got a brass connection box, right? And then we wired the button up to where it was grounded out to the connection box, and then it was connected straight to an electrical plug. And we just hung this fucking button from the ceiling right out in front of our door. It was just hanging in the middle of the P-way right out in front of our door, and the line just went up over the bulkhead in it because our shop had a false bulkhead in the front by the door. So I just went right up over the bulkhead, straight across the overhead of our shop, and then plugged right into the wall. and we put on the button, do not push button, right? Because what would happen is if you push the button, it completed the circuit, and since it was grounded out to the box, that was the only place for the ground to go, and it would shock people if they pushed it. You have no idea how many people, like, and it also, as you, like, you could hear it kind of buzz a little bit when people clicked it. So you'd be out there.
You're also going to hear that, ah!
Yep. So we'd be sitting there like, you fuckers!
Why did you do this? To prove a point. You give somebody a button to push, and you tell them not to push the button.
Mm-hmm.
Dean, you are 100% right. We need a dumbass disability claim. Like, we all had that button or thing, because mine was the coffee pot. Our coffee pot had frayed wiring in the back, and water was leaking on it. So I got told to go fix the coffee pot. And I would get shocked like every 5 minutes. And I'm like, I told them to turn it off, but they're not doing it. Why don't you unplug it? Because the cables are run everywhere. If I unplug something, I'm unplugging the wrong thing.
Thank you, Larry.
So I keep working on it. You good?
Like,
come out, my arms all crippled up for 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm good. Just give me a second. Doc was in there watching me. He said, "You got sharped?" No, I got shocked. No, you got sharped.
Yeah.
I got sharped, Doc.
I got
Like,
sharp.
he's trying to deny the fact that I got electrocuted. I'm like, thanks.
You
Thank
didn't
you.
get electrocuted. Electrocution
No.
equals death. But
Well, they did not want to go through the medical process to make sure I was still okay.
yeah, because it's stupid. You have to be put under a freaking a watch. Dude.
Watch. Yep.
Yeah,
It's what a 24 to 48 hour watch.
Yep.
You have to be in your rack.
Yep. And you
they'll
have to
come.
have.
They'll come check on you every few minutes, put a mirror over your mouth, and make sure you're still breathing.
Yeah, well, on Surface Navy, they actually put someone sitting next to your rack that sits there and wakes you up every like couple hours or something like that. It's just freaking.
No, we don't have the room for somebody to just sit by a rack. So.
Yeah. So it's like, and there are multiple times where I should have, like in the Navy as an electrician, I should have went to medical and gotten put on freaking a watch like that, because there are a few times working on stuff that I got zapped bad. Like when I went to sleep that night, I went to sleep afraid because, and these were, and most of these times were actually times where I was working, I was doing work legit. It just happened to be I was in a box that wasn't supposed to be energized, and it happened to be, and freaking
failure to lock out, tag out effectively.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't even that. It just there shouldn't have been any power in it, and somehow there was, because someone in the past had run something there that they shouldn't have ran through there, and I just got freaking lit up. Like, because both the ships I were on, especially the Constellation, were just freaking, they were a mess as far as everything goes like that. But one time I remember I was down in the engineering space, like on the lower level, tracing a cable for a sound-powered phone, and I get to a connection box for sound-powered phones, and I open it up, and I'm digging around in there. I got my flashlight in one hand, and I'm just digging around inside this box because it's sound-powered. Shouldn't be any power in there, right? And
yeah.
I cross a couple freaking leads and just get lit the fuck up.
Oof.
Drop my flashlight and just lit up. Like I felt my chest go thump when it hit me, which that's when you get scared, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just like, oh, I should have went to medical, but I didn't, and I went to bed that night praying that I woke up.
I've had 2 bad shocks in my life, and both of them was when I was ironworking. They had frayed leads, and it was raining out, so my gloves were wet, and I grabbed the lead, and it hit me so hard my arm started to curl in. I had to have my buddy that was up with me rip the lead out of my hand so I could unclench. The worst one I ever had, it was raining out, and they want you to weld, and I told them this is a bad idea. Electricity on metal and water. This does not add up to a pretty situation.
Yeah.
So I'm welding, and I have to straddle it. But my legs are so wide, the first path that the electricity is going to hit is somewhere a little personal. So I strike an arc, and the first thing I feel is just a sharp zap, and I'm like, oh! I mean, my gut just did flip-flops. I came down like, I'm not welding today. This ain't going to happen. This ain't going to happen. What happened to you? What do you think happened? You got shocked. Where do you think I got shocked? Ooh. Ooh, yeah. We'll get somebody smaller so their knees touch the beam before they start to weld. Like, that doesn't make sense either. They're still going to get shocked.
Right?
Like, you have no sense of safety for your people.
Hi, John Boren. So, and Dean Cerny a minute ago, he said, Athen, Mickey Severson didn't come and get his couch yet? Nope, Mickey did not come get his couch, and he would have had to contend with Ms. Desiree if he'd tried to.
He tried to come for the gun, and I told him, where's my money? He got quiet real quick. Was like, oh,
And I don't know if you noticed it earlier, Cameron, your dad said the backgrounds are great, both of them. He was saying loving your flag, and I guess mentioned my background as well.
I think he likes the improvements, so that's a good thing.
That is a good thing. We'd made a couple improvements here.
I don't have any kids. Dean.
I wasn't a bubblehead. I was Surface. I'm a skimmer, but freaking yeah, I got 2 kids. So they're both boys.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
You're wrong again. Freaking Dean coming in here to start shit. I see you down there in the comments.
I see you.
So, Continuing on.
Moving right along.
Yep. Seeing as we're dropping people.
All right. It's been bouncing around for the most part.
Yep. So an armed robber was shot and killed. So before we jump into gun grabbing and guns are bad and all this crap, no. The armed robber was shot and killed. A 23-year-old man was shot and killed in a Dollar General store Roosevelt Rapley entered the store and pulled out his gun and started demanding money. One of the store clerks is a concealed carry permit holder and was legally armed. Once the individual pointed his gun at the clerk, he drew his weapon and fired, hitting Rapley in the chest. The clerk then called the police, and witness testimony revealed that Rapley had pointed his gun at the clerk, prompting him to defend himself. After the failed robbery, two of Rapley's family members came forward and spoke with reporters, saying it is the clerk's fault for being legally armed and blaming the clerk for his death.
Well, in all actuality, I think that's why, like at 7-Eleven, I don't know if we're not allowed to be armed. I haven't ever asked that question, but it's like it says everything. If we get robbed, we are not to use any weapons in defense. We're just supposed to go along with being robbed and just work with everything afterwards.
Call Jaden.
Call Jaden.
Call Jaden.
Jade, come here.
No, not Jade. Jade Lopez, genius.
I know. Never mind. Is she in Skype ready? Or you?
Yeah, in Skype. I'm going to continue on with the story on this, so you can take care of this. But when interviewed, the representative for Dollar General stores did not answer, saying that no, he could not have his firearms. He was legally carrying, and so there was no problem with the police and him defending himself. The sister said he's got some responsibility, not all. Right and wrong is wrong. That was wrong for the clerk to shoot my brother in the chest. Yes, he's robbing them. Oh, well. Call the police. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to take matters into your own hands. She's literally saying we do not have the right to defend yourself. So if I'm getting my butt whooped in a parking lot, I can't defend myself. I can't fight back.
That's what I was saying a second ago, as far as the whole at a place of business and all that stuff. I think it goes kind of into a different situation there, because like I said, at 7-Eleven, if we get robbed, if I did have a weapon, we're not allowed to actually defend ourselves with said weapon. Hi, Jade. Can we hear you?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can we see you, though?
I think so, yeah.
I think we should. I think I've got that set up all perfectly fine.
Athen has wings.
Yep, there it is.
Athen has who?
All right.
Wings.
Oh, Athen has wings, just like Red Bull.
So, Jade, you heard what we were talking about.
Oh, you're drinking Red Bull.
The family talking about how their brother shouldn't have died. What's your takeaway on that one?
I kind of caught the ass end of that, but I did hear about it, that the family, he went in armed to rob a place and was shot and killed, and now the family says he shouldn't have been shot and killed.
Yeah.
Well, he was robbing them. He was breaking the law and threatening other people's lives and safety. But when, somebody feared for their life and defended their life, it's not
the wrong
okay.
answer. Yeah, it's the wrong answer. So you're telling me if somebody tries to come and rob me, just say yes, hand everything over, and pray they don't kill me?
Right, because they could still turn around and blast you away anyway, even if you give them what they want.
Especially if you've seen their face.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. That's ridiculous. This is what gun grabbers are wanting to do. Just let everybody go into mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
Which is another topic we're talking about here in a little bit. Right, Dean, exactly. Don't break the law and you won't get shot. Common sense. The problem is, Dean, common sense is not common anymore. So common sense is more of a superpower nowadays. So if you still have some common sense, you're a superhero. Take it that way. Because there are a lot of people out there that lack common sense, common courtesy, any kind of wits about them. and they think handouts are going to happen and we're going to rob everybody. This is the second case I know of where the family had problems with somebody getting shot because they were doing something wrong.
They were robbing or doing something and they got shot and killed, and the family says they shouldn't have got shot, killed.
I
But,
remember
okay,
there was
what if the police came in and shot and killed them too? Then is
Yeah.
it still
well
bad?
that's one of our next stories actually. But I remember there was protests about the family when they shot the young African American kid, and they were protesting saying my son shouldn't have to fear for his life when he's robbing you. It literally said that. I was like, how stupid do you have to be? Like, you're literally advertising that you or your family members are breaking the law and that you don't want them to die for them breaking the law, even if it could risk other people's lives.
Yeah. As long as it's not your family, right?
Yeah, as long as
If-
it's not my.
If it's threatening anybody else's family, who cares? But if it's my family, then something needs to change.
Yeah. Pretty much. What was I looking for?
If I'm robbing your family, my family shouldn't have to worry about dying. Yes, they should, because that'll deter them from coming to rob my family. If you fear for your life coming into my house thinking
Hi,
you're going to rob
John.
us. If you fear for your life coming into my house, that means you're probably not going to rob me. You'll go find some other safe zone somewhere, or a gun-free zone, or somebody that has a sign that says red flag laws wanted, or no guns here. They're probably going to go to the house that does not have means to defend itself. But I mean, that also means that the bad guys have more common sense than most people in the world. So,
well, I suppose I could see where you're coming from with that. So, well,
I'm just saying. But moving on.
Moving right along.
Your California story.
Yep, California story. So we got we got the story coming up here, and then I've actually got a kind of a bump off of that one. So which is a local story for me here.
Larry is actually asking about what's going on in Hong Kong. I'm not sure about what's going on in Ecuador, but we covered it last story that Hong Kong police have been authorized to use deadly force against violent protesters. However, on the videos and everything, they show the people waving flags and holding signs, not doing anything violent at all. They're literally just trying to silence them and their lack thereof of freedom of speech.
Oh, we're at how Hong Kong, or not Hong Kong, like China and all that stuff about to be going into civil war and everything. Yeah,
pretty much.
That's shit's some really high tension stuff going on.
And it's just getting worse.
So lots of crap going on everywhere. So this one that's going on.
We also talk about that theft in a little bit, but it's with somebody else.
So, this is the story we got right here. So in California has just recently passed a law, stating that the schools can now report
schools
you for,
and employers.
Yep, schools and employers can now seek red flag gun restraining orders on dangerous individuals. So we got California will soon be able to ask courts to take guns away from coworkers and students they believe to be dangerous under a new law Governor Gavin Newsom signed on Friday. Law enforcement
California also just fell into the category of a third world country. It's doing so poorly right now.
Did they really? It used to be the sixth largest economy on the planet. So.
They just had major blackouts. They have a huge homeless problem. The cost of living is substantial.
The blackout things are actually controlled. It's more of a fire restricting type of thing. So they're controlled. They just the people in the blackout areas don't have any control as far as how long they're going out of electricity.
That's ridiculous.
That's been an issue in California for like as long as I can remember, the rolling blackouts they had in California, and that's mostly just Southern California. But
If I
yeah,
pay my electric bill, I want my AC, especially here in Texas.
well, it's like the rolling brownouts that they used to have. It used to be because like the infrastructure of the power couldn't really handle everything, so they did rolling brownouts, which is what that is, where power would be cut in certain areas for periods of time and all that stuff, just to save power, so and all that stuff. But and then they went and they started, trying to upgrade and fix the infrastructure of it, and that's what happened to lead to all these really serious fires that they had over the last few years, which actually PG&E ended up being held responsible for. All the deaths that happened like that. I think the CEO of PG&E ended up being getting tried for murder or something like that because of the people who were killed from the fires. But moving
Really,
on.
murder though?
Well, if I mean,
Maybe involuntary manslaughter charges, but murder is kind of
Yeah,
Well,
I could
to a company?
see-
so like I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but it's like you have the different levels of murder. So on the lower end of murder, it's still murder if there was, my vocabulary is shit right now. So it's
I could
culpability.
see
think
that
is the
being
word.
involuntary manslaughter.
Well, it's like if there's culpability, if you intentionally did
No.
something.
Yeah, if you intentionally ignored the warnings that this could cause a massive wildfire leading to the deaths of multiple people, yes, then I can understand it being upgraded from like involuntary manslaughter.
To murder, which the culpability of it would make it murder as opposed
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
manslaughter. So, let's see, law enforcement agencies. This is back onto the story that we were on. Law enforcement agencies and immediate family members today are the only people who can file a petition to halt another person's access to guns. Starting on September 1st, 2020, schools and employers can also initiate requests. So California's seen 36 mass shootings thus far in 2019. So basically, even like
Well, before you continue on, I wanted to cover something else the article put in there. They said that
Mhm.
more than 12,000 people died in the state from firearms between 2014 and 2017. That's data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. But my question is, how many of these gun-related deaths were death by suicide? How many were standing your ground, defending your home? How many were law-abiding, like somebody broke in and I shot the intruder? Because they didn't cover that in the article. They only posted the number 12,000, and I think that's the whole spectrum of gun deaths in California, and they're
Mhm.
using that for a
Don't
fear-mongering
explain it.
petition.
Yeah, don't explain it. Just give them a big number. It's scary.
Yeah, exactly. 12,000 people have died from guns. Okay, how many were personally responsible for their own death? I mean,
Yeah, because even the suicide makes up a big majority of it. Even murder-suicide,
hmm
break-ins, standing your ground, like he was saying.
And it's like with the other parts of this, it's like so even they're going as far as to not allow students at school to be able to have their guns taken away. So first of all, like in
I mean, look at all the cases where people are just offended by somebody having a gun. You allow that in school, there's going to be so many kids calling in saying, I don't think this guy should have a gun. He's a bully. He's mean to me. He's the quiet one. He's scary. Like, there's no proof, evidence, or any fact behind that guy being a danger. Maybe he's just shy. Maybe he's just quiet.
Mhm.
Maybe he doesn't even have a gun. So, I mean,
exactly. So, and then here's another story that kind of ties into the California one. This is a local story here for me. So there was a guy local here in my area, Redmond. It's a town for me that's about 20-ish minutes away. And there was a man who lives in that town who just recently had his gun seized after police alerted to concerning posts. Apparently, he has a history of allegedly making online threats towards women. So it says Redmond police have taken weapons from a man after online postings showed the 23-year-old resident holding two AK-47 type weapons in an online post. The post, dated September 26th, read, "One ticket for Joker, please." Police believe the post referenced the movie Joker, a film currently raking in millions at box offices across the country. Police also found prior social media postings of the man claiming to be an incel, which is short for involuntary celibate. The Army issued a warning about the potential of mass shootings at movie showings, according to the Extreme Risk Protection Order. This warning was distributed after social media posts related to extremists classified as incels were uncovered by intelligence officials at the FBI. The document states the IPIC Redmond Theater requested police security for 3 days last week because of this dude making those posts and all that stuff. So the whole incel thing, there was a few years ago there was a shooting at a college because there was a guy there was a chick that he liked or something like that, and he couldn't manage to be able to get
Yeah,
with her.
we talked about that murder 4 shows ago, I believe.
Mm-hmm. So he was an incel, involuntarily celibate, which basically means it's a person who can't get laid. And yeah, they somehow end up blaming the fact that they can't get laid on everyone but themselves, and they are angry about it. And a lot of times they end up taking that out on women. So if he's claiming himself to be an incel, I didn't read too far into this before, but if he's claiming to be an incel, I could kind of understand. But at the same point, if they don't really have any proof that he's gonna do anything, why are they taking his guns? Like, so
Well,
he made it.
if he's still making threats online and posing with the firearms in these threats, I can almost understand that one. Has he
Yeah.
committed a crime yet?
No.
Not really. I mean, they did just have a kid have his guns taken away because he made a comment in a game
Mm-hmm.
when everybody I've ever met in a game has said something stupid at some point in time. But I mean,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of a difference. Can I agree with them taking his firearms? No. Should he have been put on a watch list? 100%.
Mm-hmm. And I think in that's about the long and short of it. Should this dude have had his guns taken away? I mean, that one right there, that's kind of, like you said, it's kind of a tricky...
That's a very gray zone.
Yeah, because he is posting, carrying 2 AK-47s saying, ready to
Making
go watch
threats
Joker.
Yeah.
So, at the same point, like the darkness of I haven't seen it yet, but from what I've heard of the Joker it's pretty dark, it's pretty, and all that, all that stuff. And he, what the dude who plays the Joker in it, he took his, basically he took inspiration for the way he's playing the Joker off of, Gacy, I think is who it was, who actually, when he committed all his murders, he actually was a clown. He worked as a children's clown and all that stuff, so he based the makeup, the way his makeup was done, and the way he played the character off of Gacy. For that, which, if y'all don't know, he was a serial killer in the 70s who basically preyed on a lot of young boys, for that matter. But, yeah. I don't know. It's like you said, it's a gray area. So
Yeah, and that's should he have had his guns taken? No. It was I can respect their decision to an extent,
mhm.
but it would still have been a more understandable option to put him on a watch list. Keep watching his Facebook and social media and Twitter and all that crap for when he does, because it's hard to tell when somebody's being serious. I mean, you don't know everybody's sense of humor.
Yeah.
Is that a good sense of humor to have on social media? Hell no, especially not this day and age.
Yep. Exactly.
But you can't prove that in court. So now he's going to have to go through the process. If he wants to get his firearms back, he has to hire lawyers and go to court to get his guns back, which is going to cost thousands of dollars for him to do so.
Mm-hmm. So, and yeah, that's, it is what it is. I mean, and we're gonna be seeing a lot more of this moving forward, especially coming out of California with the fact of how now schools and employers can start triggering this shit.
I
So,
can understand employers to a certain extent. I still don't agree with red flag laws at all.
mhm.
But schools, that is such a terrible idea. That's going to ruin so many so many careers.
Yep.
I mean, look at all the false rape allegations we had not a few years ago, where it ruined just multiple men's lives. Several of them were put in prison, and then they finally came forward and admitted that, oh no, I was lying. It's too late now. I mean, they ruined a scholarship for a gentleman for football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're going to look at what happened to you when you put your resume out. What happened to you for these 3-4 years? And you have to explain that crap.
Yep.
I mean, nobody's going to look at you the same ever again. That just ruins lives.
Yeah. It's like,
So
oh,
it's going to be it's going to be the exact same thing now. Well, why can't you have guns?
because
Why is there a restraining order against you?
and exactly, it's like given that situation, it's like so, you spent a couple years in jail or prison because of a false accusation or rape, and you know just like that, you go to apply for a job, and they're like, so what's up with these couple of years of unemployment? And then you have to explain, yeah, I was, in prison for because of false allegation or rape. What the employer oftentimes, and it really also depends on the caliber of the job you're going for, but oftentimes the employer is going to question, well, why were you ever in a situation where you made yourself able to be accused of rape and all that stuff? And then,
Well,
go ahead.
sorry to interrupt, but just to even say, even if you have, because you have to report that on your application or whatever,
Mhm.
most employers, the ones that will ask you about it and you have to explain to it, but I would say it's more of a majority of them are going to see that and discard.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, they're going to
Altogether.
take that application, just throw it straight out.
Yeah.
You'd be lucky to get an interview after, because again, she said it. If you ever were tried or incarcerated, it asks, have you ever committed a felony? You have to put yes, because you were convicted.
But if
But
you had got exonerated of that crime, then technically the conviction gets nullified. So at that point, I don't know if you'd have to actually, again, my vocabulary just took a shit on me. But if you'd actually have to put that down, saying that you were tried or you were convicted of it because conviction had been overturned.
I don't think you
But-
should. I'm not 100% on that. I think the women that are providing these false allegations should have to pay a settlement to the individual
Mm-hmm.
for the time he served, as well as go serve the same amount of time that he was put away.
I would agree
Dave's
on that.
not here, man. Dave's not here.
How do you feel?
But
I was
I
just,
also wanted to add two more bits to that. Even if you don't have to put it on the application or on your resume and stuff like that, it depending on the level of security of type of job and the backgrounds that you go through, I guarantee you it's going to still show something.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, guaranteed. But I mean, he had a full ride scholarship through college for football. He was planning on going pro. Killed. That opportunity was
Over.
shot. Yep, done.
Life ruined.
I mean, we talked about it, I think, last show or the show before last, where women were falsely accusing guys of rape that they didn't like just because they didn't like him. Like, he's not my type, so I'm going to accuse him of this. So he goes, wait, like, that's going to crush people. And now we're going to see it with firearms. So it's just going to get worse and worse.
Yep.
Because they're going to take that one and run with it more than they did with the rape allegations, because he's scared me for a day. Man, I am 6'2", 288. I scare a lot of people, but y'all come and sit and talk with me, and I'm one of the nicest guys you can meet most of the time.
Are you though, Cameron? Are you though?
You haven't had a problem with me yet.
You
But,
woke me up
I
today,
mean-
Cameron.
Yeah, because you were almost late for the show.
Well, yeah, there is that.
Hmm.
A graveyard man.
Yeah, I can't fault you too much. You still managed to get up in time. But I think, and they're going to take this. They're not going to go to jail, but they're not going to be able to own a gun. They're going to be put on some kind of watch list or some list where they're a dangerous individual, and now they have to go through and prove they're not a danger. And again, that's going to cost thousands of dollars in court fees, all because somebody said something stupid and or took their words out of context. Oh, Dean, it's growing, okay? But there I think this is a terrible idea. Employers, I can understand. I still don't agree with the laws. I don't agree with red flag laws at all. A lot of people are going to get killed. A lot of people are going to have their rights taken away unjustly. A lot of people are going to suffer for this. But with them actually doing it, employers, fine.
So
Schools is full of drama. It's no.
So Shelley and Richie King asked a good question down there for discussion regarding this. Let me ask this: should lying be against the law? So
It is.
Well, that depends. It's like to what degree, to what caliber. So if you're lying
under oath is against the law.
Lying under oath is against the law. Yes. So.
Yeah.
And I mean, in that aspect, I fully agree with that, because if you're under oath, I mean, and if you're making a police report and all that stuff, that would be considered under oath, would it not?
I don't know
Pretty
about
much.
that one. I think it is.
When you make an official police statement, you do have to sign that everything that
Because
you have stated is, to your knowledge, the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that would be providing false testimony.
Yep. So there, in that point, that would make lying against law, and I fully agree with it.
Sure.
Yeah, I fully agree
Nice,
with
Dean.
it being against the law in that aspect, because as we've said multiple times, that's going to ruin lives. It has, and it will.
Oh yes.
So it's just I don't know.
Yeah, Dean, I can agree with you on that one wholeheartedly. If they want to do something like the red flag laws, they need to legally notify the person and confront them during working hours. They need to actually sit and hold interviews, do psych evals. Like, they should not be able to come in and just confiscate your guns. It is not your job to prove you are innocent. It is their job to prove you are guilty. And right now we are living in a country that is guilty until proven innocent. We have changed our views.
Yep. So, and Shelley Richard King, Redneck Pimp there, he says, already had some people get killed by, I'm assuming he was saying lying?
No, red flag laws. We talked about it before in the show, how red flag laws are getting people killed already because these cops are just breaking in to confiscate these guns, and the law-abiding citizen is using his guns to defend himself and shooting a police officer.
So, but are you thinking, is that what the LY?
Ooh. Shelley and Richie King. Actually, we covered this one show. George Soros paid the prosecutor in the Sommelier trial $400,000 to have it dropped.
Yep. So yeah, Jade put it in there. She said money.
Yep.
Got money.
Shows you weren't paying attention to me in some of our shows.
He may have
'Cause
not
we have
been
covered-
watching.
We have covered that. It was all about the money.
Yep. It's all about, that's what makes the world go round, bro. That and boobies and booties.
Money is the root of all evil.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and just to kind of knock you off your schedule, I don't know if you guys, I didn't catch the beginning of the show, but happy birthday, Navy.
Yes, that was the first thing we mentioned.
Yeah, it was the first
Okay,
thing out of my
so-
mouth.
Like I said, I missed the first few minutes, so sorry if you guys had said it, but happy birthday from me to you guys too.
And we sang happy
Well,
birthday.
we appreciate you.
And then we mentioned how we're probably going to get taken down for copyright.
Yeah. It's
So,
possible. I mean, I did get a warning our last show about posting some of our links for the stories.
really? And that's just stupid shit, like Facebook.
Like, I literally copied the link and posted it below, and they're like, you can't post that. Why?
And
I'm covering our articles here, and I'm giving my articles to our followers for them to read the articles so they can have their takeaway and come talk to me later. But that's why we tell y'all constantly, if you want more information or you want to talk to us, come visit us in our Discord. Facebook's getting too liberal for that
Yeah.
crap.
you're not allowed to post that because you might hurt someone's feelings, because it's true.
Yeah, exactly. It's actual factual evidence, but it goes against what they want. I mean,
Stating
even
your sources.
Apple got busted
Not
for disclosing
plagiarizing.
protesters' names in Hong Kong. So even Apple is biased. Did y'all not see that?
Happy belated birthday to Pimpin.
Yep,
Happy-
Redneck Pimp said it was his birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday. But yeah, Apple actually disclosed all the protesters' names that they could to the Chinese government. So they started doing raids and arresting people.
That's just stupid. Like, Apple wouldn't they wouldn't disclose the way. Like, you remember a while back where there was the Muslim people, they went on the shooting spree and they were like driving, like across the town. I think it was like in LA or something like that. And the cops ended up killing both of the suspects, but they'd found an iPhone on one of them, and they were trying to get in the iPhone to figure some information out, but the iPhone was locked and there was like no way to unlock the iPhone, I guess. And they contacted Apple, and Apple refused to do anything to help. But now Apple's like, hey, yeah, we're just gonna start throwing out everyone's information on that. So that's kind of,
Yeah, we're gonna throw everybody under the bus.
yeah, that's bullshit right there.
Yeah. So they'll do it against protesters that are wanting democracy, but they won't do it against active terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
I have an iPhone, and it's getting worse and worse. I'm honestly planning on swapping over to a Samsung. One, because Apple's biased. Two, because, well, I just got this phone like a month ago and it's already crapping out on me. So they've already been proven to leak information. They've already been proven to put out new updates that slow your battery down or take up more of the space. And there's nothing you could do about it. They got sued twice in both of those cases. But they charge $1,400 for a phone. Like, why? You added 2 new cameras. That was the only change Apple did, was they added 2 new cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Well-
but it's better quality cameras. Do I selfie often? Okay, no.
Well,
Moving on.
in defense of the cameras, apparently I'm not an Apple fan. Let's get that out of the way right off the bat. But in defense of that, the cameras on the new Apple phones, I guess, are supposed to be comparable to like some studio quality cameras, like lower end studio quality cameras. They're supposed to be like extremely high end cameras and all that. So
Still don't. I would rather go and get me an actual camera. Like when I actually start doing stuff out and about, like when we go fishing or shooting, just having conversation with people that want to check in with us, I'll get a real camera. Or when we start doing shorts, I'll have a real camera.
yeah, well, of course. I mean,
Because then I can pull the information off, put it on my computer, and edit it as needed. I don't have to fumble with an iPhone.
well, see, and that's another reason. I am not an Apple fan. I'm going to keep reiterating this, but that's another reason that a lot of people like to use the iPhones for stuff like that, because iPhone has they actually have very capable editing software that you can actually get on the iPhones, and you can take video, edit it on the phone, and upload it all from there. So you can actually do all of that on site, and you can actually, be able to run live broadcasts and all that stuff with it. And yeah. But like I said, I would
See, I have a PC,
Mm-hmm.
and I can do all that stuff on a computer too.
Well, yeah,
in
I
the
know.
comfort of my own chair.
This is true, but if you're on location someplace,
I'm not buying a 13, as Shelly and Richie King said, why are you buying a $1,300 camera? You can get a GoPro for $50.
So why the duck are you buying a $1,300 camera? It depends on what you're trying to do with stuff there, Shelly. And a GoPro's not always a good camera for everything. The GoPro's an action camera. There's, if you have to, yeah. But it's like, the sense of it is, if you're on location at a thing. So it's like, say, you're not able to bring your laptop, or you're not able to bring your computer, you're not at your computer, you're on location at something, and you have a video that you've taken that you want to be able to upload, and you want to be able to do it now, you can take quality video, edit it, and upload it all in a matter of time without a delay. And there are lots of people that apparently are in that situation. They don't want to have to lug a laptop around with them, all that stuff. So, okay, $1,300 phone. You know, I don't know. None of the iPhone or Androids are that expensive, and even on Androids, they're starting to catch up. I mean, catch up in that sense, but most people who have an Android, they're not going to be so picky on not wanting to bring like a laptop with them to be able to do stuff. So, yeah.
I like that, Dean. I like that. Dean says, I want a tac cam for my crossbow so I can film deer getting shot, post it to Facebook, and go to Facebook jail. I'd be careful. You might be the next person to push out a new ban saying you can't have crossbows anymore. See, look at the devastation. Did y'all see the video recently where they posted a article? They were talking about, look at the damage this AR-15 does to this watermelon, and he pulls out a shotgun, pumps it, and like, what? Please tell me this. Somebody please tell me that video and article is fake. Please.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I tried to disprove the Sheila Jackson Lee thing where she was talking about the weight of the shot or AR-15 and the 50 caliber round it utilizes. Still haven't found anything that disproves that. But I need something. I need some faith in humanity restored, telling me that that article is fake. I can't even. CNN thinks every gun is an AR-15. That does not surprise me. Oh God, this country's going to hell in a handbasket. I started seeing articles where some Marines are even going against the president now. I'm like, you swore an oath. You could go to mass for that crap or court-martialed for that crap. You might not like the president, but you got to respect him.
I've always said that too. It's like you might not get along or like your supervisor, but you damn well better respect their rank.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well,
you literally signed away your freedom of speech when you joined the military.
In the military, yes. It's like you may not get along with them, you may not agree with them, but you better respect the fact that they're senior to you. And if they end up doing anything that breaks rules or anything like that, handle it the way it's supposed to be handled. You know? So if they're giving you unlawful orders, you follow the order at the time, unless it's, really bad one, then, discretion on that. But the way things...
You're going to know an unlawful order versus I'm just being a little bitch about this person telling me what to do.
Yeah. Exactly. So,
again, the Marines might not like him. They might be protesting him and everything. You don't have that right in the military. It's gone. You signed it away. We all signed the same 400 pieces of paper that told us we don't have rights anymore. We're a part of the government. We are not a person. We are property. So suck it up. Listen to your commander in chief. And when you get out, then you can talk shit. But I will still vote for Trump again. I think this impeachment is retarded and ridiculous and has no bearing. They're literally just trying to do everything they can because they can't buy this man. And they know he's a danger to what they've been doing, which is trying to bring this country down from the inside out. Go tuck your caller devices in and go take care of business. Now, callers aren't showing. It's fair game. You know something's about to happen when somebody senior comes up or junior. They start rolling that collar in. Okay, guess we're doing this.
I saw that happen one time. I did see it happen one time. It was my LPO. He started tucking his collars in. Like, let's go, motherfucker.
I had an officer I wish would have done that, but he did not have the spine for it.
Mm-hmm. So.
And he lost a lot of respect from us for what he told us. He has no respect for anybody without a college degree. And I think I've said that story on the show before. So, yeah.
Jim, when I was in, we didn't wear a rank on our collars. So we had the patch on our chest. And I didn't see it within my unit, but where I was housing overseas, we were next to an infantry unit that was moving through, and I did see them pull their rank off and just go at it,
No.
take care of that
Rank's
business.
not showing anymore. We're civilians
Yeah.
for the next 5 minutes. Shelly and Richie King, I don't know why the Marines are protesting. I think it's because we're getting a lot of soft people in the military. I don't expect senior command to be protesting this. The only articles I've seen have been younger enlisted. The new 8-17 to about the 22-year-old range.
It's a matter like
Oh God, John.
Which are not technically millennials.
Oh
Nope.
damn!
I think I fall under the category millennial, which is retarded.
I do.
I am technically a millennial, just barely. I'm like at the left side cusp of it.
But the people that are causing the problems and getting in their feelings and everything, I think, are considered Generation X. I want to say
think
they named them something else.
yeah. And it's
Like I was on that borderline of Generation X and millennial, and I'm like, I was born 50 years too late. Like, or I mean, we could go back to Norse times, and I would be very happy drinking from the skulls of my enemies.
it's like this.
That's the problem with this world today. Nobody drinks from the skulls of their enemies anymore.
The level of hatred towards President Trump for not a lot of reason whatsoever is just it's getting asinine. Like there's like yesterday at work, I was I freaking in my register in my drawer there was I think it was a $1 bill where there was someone put a stamp on that said no vote for Trump, and then like they drew a little speech bubble around it and kind of attached it to George Washington's head.
That's still illegal.
I was like, first of all, you're defacing currency to for a political agenda. It's like, isn't that illegal?
It is.
And then and it's like, that's just stupid. And it's like, and then there's another person that came in like a week ago, and they have this big old sign on the side of their truck that's it's a handmade sign that says "fuck Trump" on the side of it and all that stuff. It's like, I understand.
I think my favorite thing I've seen is a girl got a tattoo that said "Trump is not my president" on her ribs. Problem is, Trump is your president if you live in America, and you will have that tattoo with Trump's name on you for the rest of your life. Even if you get it covered up, we will all still know Trump was here.
I get it, and I understand, like, it's your right as an American to disagree with what, with who is elected as president. That's why we have the elections. That's why we voted in a new president every 4 years. You have the right to disagree with it, but, show your disagreement when it comes time to vote. Not
peacefully.
All of this, and there's no...
I'm still waiting for them to label Antifa a terrorist group.
Oh, I just saw news of them in the news today. A bunch of them got arrested just recently, like yesterday, I think it was. A bunch of them just got arrested.
Oh, yeah. Police are showing up, and they're not even telling people to get out anymore. They're just straight tackling people because even the police know Antifa is nothing but a violent group. They're carrying hammers and pepper sprays and batons and sticks and staffs, and they're hitting people. That's not peaceful. They're blocking traffic, which is against the Constitution. That is illegal. You cannot legally block traffic. If you block the traffic in Texas, I guarantee somebody's going to run you over in a jacked up truck.
Mm-hmm.
What I did find funny about the story that I saw about them, they went to a Marine recruiting station and attempted to bust windows with the hammers and stuff like that, and weren't able to break any of the windows.
Wow. I think it would be more hilarious if the Marines came out and just watched them, like, give them a second before they realize. And as soon as they realize the Marines are there, just let the brawl happen.
Well, they knew it was a Marine.
Because they did it on the weekend. They knew that the recruiters weren't there.
Yep, and they knew it was a Marine recruiting station. That happened here in Portland. Yeah, they were trying to bash in the window. I remember that story. That was funny.
Like, this is just
ridiculous. You can't break a window with a hammer.
Right? How hard it? Well, I don't know. It depends on what the glass is made of, but usually those windows are just regular glass. So I don't know. But how much more of their actions is it going to take before we finally go, nope, they're a terrorist group. If they're protesting in your city, do whatever you need to defend yourself because they're destroying property. They're beating on cars. They're beating on everybody, elderly, women, children. If you're a part of the group they don't like, they're hitting you. And they're still calling us the racists and the bigots and the Nazis. And I'm like,
And I just saw him bear
what?
spray another Democrat. Bear sprayed him. And it turns out that this dude was just trying to go to his car, and he turned out to be a Democrat. But no.
Yeah, they don't care. They just want to be violent.
Mm-hmm. But they're a peaceful protesting group.
Yeah,
That's bullshit.
They're
I don't
peaceful.
care what I don't care what their point is or anything like that. When you start beating the shit out of people, you're not going to get your point across.
I mean, they got told not to come to Texas after the El Paso shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Like the governor flat out said, this will be a very bad idea for you to step foot in Texas. And I never heard of them coming. And there was no follow-up, nothing.
Live in Texas.
And I think they understood why, because we will not take that crap. We know you're violent. We've seen you be violent. We will answer violence with violence. And we'll do stuff that'll make Satan go, oh no. Like, they're not a peaceful group. They claim to be. They block people from peacefully protesting and spreading their message, trying to inform the public. They don't care. Whatever you say, you're wrong. You're wrong. You have to come to my side. If you're not Antifa, you're wrong.
Listen, you like me, I like you. You want to get violent? I'm your Huckleberry. Y'all got Beto. That was enough. Check my file.
Yeah.
Huh? I think we got people over there talking about like different things.
I don't know. Moving on, though.
I think Dean might be talking to John because John was saying we had the Westboro Baptist Church here in Colorado Springs
Jesus.
today.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dean also said, I think that might be what Dean's talking about because we did have Beto here. I do recall that the lady that called him out and said, "You said that you're going to take him? No, you're not."
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think that might be what he's saying. Y'all got Beto.
I know the Westboro Baptist Church got basically told we have a wall of people. I think it was along Texas, Louisiana, or Tennessee border, and they said if your bus comes across this border, we're going to light you up. And then they turned around and were like, nope, we're good.
Nope. All right, well, we can move right along.
Yep. So continuing on, y'all know I love talking about a certain race on here. So Islamists...
Indy 500?
Yeah, I wish. Islamists have the right to take away the property of Christians and Jews. Yasir Had was listed in 2011 as one of the most influential conservative clerics in American Islam. He claimed if Christians and Jews don't convert to Islam, their life and property are halal, free for the taking for Muslims.
So, and
I got tired of. Tried to watch the video, and I was getting more and more pissed. So y'all can check it out, see what y'all think. But this is not the first time I've heard one of them come forward and say this crap. So more and more are coming forward and saying we have the right to take your property.
So I'm gonna throw this out there on it. So this is kind of one of the issues with Sharia law and all that stuff, and it being accepted as the form of law in places where Muslims are starting to, let me try to find the most politically correct way of saying this, infiltrate, I suppose. That's not really.
They're
politically correct.
infiltrating like a parasite or a bug. They're like termites.
But where they're starting to move towards and actually, set up neighborhoods where they're, actually where Sharia law is being supported as the way that they're going to govern themselves in these areas.
It's a terrible idea.
So Sharia law is kind of based off of how it's interpreted, and you know, to some of Muslims, and in fact most Muslims, Sharia law isn't going as far as you have to kill all Americans and you steal their stuff and all that stuff. It's
Yeah, there are still peaceful ones.
there is most of Muslim people and generally and all that stuff. Sharia law is peaceful and all that stuff. It's just it's just like our not really just like our, but like the Bill of Rights and all that stuff. It's the the governing laws for their culture and all that
The
stuff.
funny part is they fled their country to avoid that, and then they want to bring it back.
Maybe it's because they know that they can make it.
They're trying to
mean-
walk over Americans and just take. They don't want America. They don't want America anymore. They want
Sharia law. I don't say.
third world country.
I do not say Sharia law. What's Sharia law?
Sharia Allah. Sharia
Sharia-
law.
Sharia law. Sharia law. Jesus
We're gonna
Christ,
spend
Shari-
Sharia
law.
law.
Dean, you broke his brain. We're gonna spend 5 minutes trying to get at them to say Sharia law effectively.
Let's see how fast we get
It's
banned.
Sharia
right.
law.
SL. We'll just call it SL. They
Yeah.
don't like bacon, guns. I love me some bacon. It's unfortunately not on my diet right now. Although I just saw an article. I don't know how true it was. I didn't actually get to read it before it disappeared. Apparently, bacon's a lot more healthy than they think it is. So
Apparently
bacon
there's-
is the new superfood.
Apparently, there's a seaweed that is kind of technically considered a superfood that tastes like bacon.
But then the Bible also talks about pigs and being unclean. I'm like, but bacon?
Dave not here, man.
Why would Dave not? Why would you make pig so tasty and then tell me in the Bible I can't eat pig?
Well, pig is a filthy animal, though. I mean, I'm just saying.
It tastes so good.
Oh, well, I'm not gonna lie on that either. I'm not gonna disagree. But
Pigs and cows are best friends for life. Bacon and burgers.
Pigs are in fact a very
J-
disgusting animal.
Jade's face right there. Just, bacon.
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 Just
So,
like in
check out the video. Tell us what you think about this interview. I know this is not the only one I've seen about this personally. I know more and more of them are coming forward and trying to push this agenda into America. And I talked about in one of our previous shows as well that they interviewed in New York multiple Muslim communities and community members, and they believe that Sharia law should supersede the U.S. Constitution. So check it out. Get back to us. You can hit me and Athen up on Facebook easily, Discord, whatever you need. But I want y'all's takeaway from this as well.
I'm gonna say one thing on that. So basically with that, so you said they feel as though Sharia law should supersede the U.S. Constitution. See, what
Yes.
they're trying to do is they're trying to use the Constitution against Constitution. So
Yeah.
the Constitution states, freedom
Freedom
of religion.
of religion.
Right? So freedom of religion means you can practice whatever religion you want as the religion states it can be. And with that, Sharia law states that it is the highest law that there is known to man. Right? So which in that point it would supersede the Constitution. So therefore the Constitution there in fact supports the fact that Sharia law does in fact supersede the Constitution. So I don't know. But yeah, speaking of religions and foods that they're not allowed to eat, there's one thing I never understood. Why is it that some religions aren't allowed to eat cheeseburgers? I never
What?
understood that. Yeah, because you're not allowed to eat meat and dairy together.
Man, I love cheese on my burger. If you tell me I can't have
don't-
cheese on my burger, I'm going to a new religion.
I
I don't
know.
think that's religion. I think that's more of just being vegan.
No, it's like I know Judaism is one of them. They're not allowed to eat meat and dairy together. It's like something about you will not drink the milk of it's like so it has something to do with in the Bible or something like that. It says you will not drink the milk of the animal while you're eating it, or some crap like that. But yeah, they're not allowed to eat cheeseburgers because yeah,
Shelley and Richie King, I think cattle are sacred as well.
cattle is sacred. It's in India.
Mhm.
India, cows are sacred.
Indonesia. I think that cattle is very sacred and sizzles up just right.
So, and then it's also in like Sikh the Sikh religion, cows are sacred. India, cows are sacred. They don't eat beef at all, but it's because cows are sacred, not in the same
Look at it
sense.
here this way, guys. We have a world global warming problem. I'm eating the animals that are eating your food and reducing their CO2 output. So I'm saving the world by eating cows.
Exactly. There we go. But it's like I think it's Judaism, and it might be some forms of Catholicism. You're not allowed, like I said, you're not allowed to eat dairy with beef, and I never understood it. I don't understand the exact.
But there's
reason.
also like during Lent for Catholics, during Lent you're not supposed to eat meat on Fridays, and 40 days
And did you know
of
that's
sacrificing certain things.
did you know that's actually
So
the reason?
each religion,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, each religion has its own certain restrictions and stuff like that as far as what you can and can't eat.
But the whole Lent thing you mentioned, that's actually the entire reason why the Filet-O-Fish exists at McDonald's.
Yes, I know that. I think I was working at McDonald's when they premiered the Filet-O-Fish, or it was a new menu item.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I like my food. I hate my diet, but I will live by my diet. But thankfully, it still has like small ass. I'm talking. The burgers are like 3 bites for me, but it's still a burger.
Yep.
So, again, check out the article, check out the video, the interview, find out more. Hit us up. Again, we have Facebook, Discord, Instagram. I don't have a Twitter, so don't bother. But get back to us on that one. All right, moving on. So they have altered the suicide metric for veterans. They're now they claimed it was 22 a day, then they changed it to 20 a day, and now they're claiming it's 17% a day, or 17 deaths a day. But the evidence from an outside source showed that it wasn't reducing. The only thing they changed, they removed National Guardsmen and reservists from the new metric. But with that being said, the suicide rate has still improved. And in fact, from 2007 to 2017, the suicide rate amongst veterans jumped 50%. And vets are 1.5 times more likely to commit suicide than some civilians. And female vets are 2.2 times more likely to kill themselves over civilians. They also said that they're more likely to have firearms and they have more access to guns. It's like, that's not the problem. If somebody wants a gun, they have the same amount of access as veterans do.
Well,
But
you can also blame the VA for throwing pills and overdoses, or overdosing suicides.
Not only that, it's so hard to get appointments with the VA or try and get a prescription with the PA, even if you've already had it documented that you have this mental disorder. If it's in your record, you still have to go to the VA, see another clinic, have them diagnose you with that same problem, and then you might get your prescriptions. So people are out there. That's why I'm trying to get a service dog. I don't like pills, and two, it's almost the same amount of drama to jump through just to get a prescription. But the director actually said, we lost more than 60,000 vets over 10 years, which is ridiculous. I think he thinks the VA facilities can improve on that. They have focused on it, but have seen no upturn on this, and they're trying to make it more of a bigger picture.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think a lot of this has to do with like the care. I'm not sure if you guys had already covered this because I was actually doing a little bit of research. But is like, you have these situations where people like literally go to they show up at the VA asking for help and they get turned away.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
and then
two-thirds of veterans out there don't have access to the VA medical facilities.
Mhm.
They haven't been approved for it.
So, and that's the importance of having a good a
VA.
good support group. Well, not even that. A good support group that you can actually kind of rely on, that you can actually back up to. It's like there's there's a level of stuff that you can expect to be able to go to the VA and get your emergent care and all that stuff. And even calling the suicide crisis line, that
You
is
can
something that's a decision that the person who is
don't
possibly-
be like me. Don't be like me and be too prideful to reach out and ask
Yeah.
for help.
well but that's a decision that the person who's going through the scenario actually has to intentionally make. They have to intentionally call this number, and in order for them to make the decision to call that number, they kind of actually have to be at the point where they're having doubts of wanting to do it. So, and whereas if there's a person who's at the point where, no, I'm just gonna do this, they're not gonna they're probably not gonna think about calling that number. Just like they won't think about actually calling or contacting any of their friends, but oftentimes they, in this new social media world, they will go and they will make a post, saying goodbye to people and all that stuff, and having the support
And
group.
we've talked about looking for those signs as
Mhm.
people so you can reach out and save your friend. And I mean, it's getting easier to ask for help nowadays.
Yeah.
You have Objective Zero, which is the app I've talked about on the show multiple times. No, they don't sponsor me. No, we don't get any money from them. I just believe in the app. I believe it has a lot of good you can benefit from, because it puts you in contact with veterans and counselors all over the world you can reach out to. So it's basically anonymous. There's also they have a text crisis line out now. If you have problems, you can text home to 741-741, and you'll get put in touch with another a counselor to help you get it through. You have the Veterans Crisis line. You have the suicide hotline. There's multiple ways.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, going back to what Athen said, watch for the signs.
Yep.
If you haven't heard from a buddy in a while, reach out to him.
Yep.
Call them
And
up, shoot them a
also,
text, ask them to
Don't
play a
be
video
afraid
game.
to straight out ask them. If you truly think that that's what they are leaning towards, straight out ask them. That can be life or death
Yep.
by saying that
Because
one
they're gonna
sentence.
they'll say, "Okay, I'm okay, man. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm okay." You've got to pay attention. If it doesn't sound right, it's not right.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. 100%.
I mean, we all have everybody here. For everybody watching, you can contact any one of us. You can contact anybody in Vet Radio Syndicate. Most of the time, they'll get on a video chat. They'll text you up, call you up, something. There are people out there if you're going through something. Again, don't be prideful.
And here at VRS, we have people located all over the country. We got people in
I
the
mean, hell,
Midwest.
even in this show, we've got Texas, Colorado, and Oregon.
Yep. And then over on the bar, they're up in the Midwest, aren't they? The bar, they hail from North
We have
Dakota, somewhere around there.
Or Ohio.
Ohio, yeah, same general area.
So don't be, and I mean, even if you just want to bullshit with somebody, again, we always offer that here as well. We have Facebook, we have Discord. You want to talk? We'll talk. Fuck, just to talk. We don't care. Hit us up.
So moving on from that, let's take it from the downer. Well, not to the.
Oh no,
negate
this
things.
is good news. This is good news.
So
This is good news. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are expected to see a cost of living bump this year. That means that as veterans, for those of us who are on disability, who have some benefits, we're looking to get another bump. I know we had one last year. What I did not know is that President Trump signed into law an annual veterans compensation cost of living, which guarantees veterans benefits will see the same annual boost as Social Security recipients.
nice.
Yeah, so this year it's not as much, but they're predicting the bump to be about 2.8%.
Nice. So and that's
So
cool.
if you have benefits, if you don't have benefits, if you're thinking about pushing for your benefits,
Mm-hmm.
fucking do it. You served. You
Yep.
sacrificed your body, your time, your conscience, your mind for this country.
So, and
Fucking,
that's
you did something. Come back and get what you deserve.
that sounds pretty good because hopefully I should be expecting my claim to be going through probably sometime next year, I'd assume. So my intake physical with my primary care is going to be happening here at the beginning of November. So that's mental health and all that stuff I'll be going through on that. So hopefully that should all be getting finalized somewhere around the first of the year. I'd like to hope. So
Yep. So if you're on the fence, if you're on the border, yeah, it takes a while. It's annoying process,
And
but it
worth
can
it
help you.
wise.
You'll benefit from it in the long run.
it really depends though
Keep
on
track of everything
yeah. Well, it
on
really
your own as well.
how difficult everything is and how much of a pain in the ass process it is it really depends on who you go to because like here in Central Oregon where I'm at we have veteran centers in each of the cities and each of the towns around here and I went to my local veteran center right here and they did everything for me like
Yeah.
they're applying for the disability claim on my behalf. They're handling
All
all
you
the
have to
paperwork.
do is show up to the appointments.
Yeah, that's all I have to do. They fill out all the paperwork for me. They do everything. All I have to do is sign on the line. They type everything up. They fill everything out. They do everything for me. So
I did the same thing 2-3 years ago, something like that, because I'd been fighting with it for about. I mean, Dean Cerny said he was fighting for about 6 years. I fought for about 2 or 3 years to get my disability, and then finally, I found about the veterans programs they have out there. It's a nonprofit. You don't pay them a dime. They don't take anything out of your disability, and they help you get your ball rolling. And then, I mean, it's super easy. You meet with them once or twice. You make your appointments. You fill out your e-benefits profile crap. You fill out where you want the money to go and everything. And Bob's your uncle.
Yep. So if you're looking to get into something, because it typically will end up streamlining and speeding up the process of everything too.
Exactly. I would not. Looking back, I wish I would have found them sooner because trying to do it alone is almost impossible. If you try and do this process alone, you're going to lose your mind.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. But again, I wasn't meaning like the next topic was going to be a downer stuff. I wanted to actually go back to something we were talking about earlier. It is Judaism that is not allowed to consume beef with dairy, and it's because of a quote in the Bible that says, "They come to do not cook a kid in its mother's milk." And Moses looks up and says, "By this I assume you mean we should not eat meat and milk dishes at the same time."
I'm still going to eat meat and milk.
That's why they're not allowed to eat cheeseburgers. That's sad.
That's a depressing life. I mean, nachos and ground beef. I mean, come on.
I know, dude.
Add some jalapenos, some pico de gallo. Dave's not here, man.
I was just about to actually say that.
Dave's not here, man.
Dave's not here, man.
At least we're not hiding from the camera.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't run out the back door again. Oh no!
We should. Oh no! We need to get some It's 1700 somewhere shirts with "Oh no" and "Dave's not here, man."
Yep, we're gonna get the Kool-Aid man running out your back door. That's what we're gonna get.
Oh no!
Oh no! Fucking out! He was out. Like
I was outie.
No, he was gone.
I just deuced out. So we got Twilight watching. Thank you for joining, Twilight.
Please make sure you give us a reaction that is not the blue thumbs up and a share.
Mm-hmm.
So our next topic, bees.
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 Oh, are we talking about how they're going to be putting bees into Minecraft on the next update?
Nope, we're talking about how bees have been on the extinction list and have also been declared the most important living being on the planet.
Well, if you didn't already know that, what rock have you been living under?
Exactly. accredited bees to 70% of the food and plant life we have on this planet. And without the bees, that fauna is going to die and pass away because pollination isn't happening anymore, which is going to take away food from the animals, which when the animals die off, well, technically we're still animals. We just eat more other animals. So they were talking about how the biggest problems they have for bees right now are massive deforestation, lacking safe places for nests, lacking flowers, use of uncontrolled pesticides, which is a pesticide that is not regulated. There's no laws regarding around it, so it kills everything, and the changes in soil. Agriculture of the world depends 70%, again, 70%. And a quote by Albert Einstein: "If the bees disappear, humans would have 4 years to live."
It's bees are with all that. It's bees are most certainly a lot of people don't really, they take it for granted exactly how important they are, because like you're saying, all of our agriculture, all of our plants, all of
Dean,
gotta,
I said 70%. Damn it!
it's like all
Smartass.
pollination of all the plants. There wouldn't be. There's so many plants that rely on the bees specifically to pollinate. Like there are some plants, or a lot of plants, that they would not exist. They will completely die out if it weren't for the fact of having bees to pollinate them. Like apples, for example. There are a lot of apple trees that they will not produce apples and they will not reproduce without having bees to pollinate them, because you have male trees and you have female trees, and you literally need bees to go to the male trees, collect the pollen, and take it over to female trees and drop the pollen off in order for those trees to produce apples, which will then drop.
Giggity.
And then, yeah. So if bees were to die out, all of these. They are already dying, yes. But if they were to die out, all of these plants and all of these trees and all of these plants that basically rely on bees to do that are going to start dying out, which means
Dean, I can see the pollination in the greenhouses, but eventually, if we kill bees off, everybody's going to have to live in a greenhouse and force pollinate their own plants just so they have enough oxygen.
Yep.
And greenhouses are hot and sweaty, and I live in Texas, so no thank you. It's already bad enough down here. We had a couple days where it was like 50 degrees, high 50s, low 60s this week, and now we're already jumping back up to mid 80s and 90s.
Oh, damn.
Like, it's too warm.
What was it? Thursday.
Free the bees. Hashtag free the bees.
Thursday morning when I was at work, at like 5 o'clock in the morning, it was 16 degrees. I hate Central Oregon.
I want to move up by Nacogdoches, be right on the border of Texas, still get all 4 seasons.
Last week we went from an 82-degree day to 30-something. Record-breaking 24-hour drop.
Yep, I think we're having a pretty warm day today. It's probably in the 50s today, so that's nice. But
it's warm here, Tim.
Bees are that important.
Yes.
Bees are that important. Shut up, Dean. Bees are that important. Because there's a lot of lazy people in the world that don't want to hand pollinate every single plant.
Yeah. I mean, it would be a good way for hey, this could be Conspiracy Corner, dude. It could be It could be NWO, dude. The New World Order. They might be killing off the bees to regulate the population, because then we're just gonna have that limited amount of population.
It's the new Black Plague.
Yeah,
it's the new Black Plague. I mean, that goes back to Ocasio-Cortez's climate change meeting. Eat the babies.
Eat the babies.
Eat the babies.
Eat the babies.
We can eat a Swedish professor says we can eat the dead, so why don't we eat the babies?
Fast enough.
Jesus. Y'all wanted some chaos. There it is.
Dave's not here.
Soylent.
Dave's not here, man. Dave's not here.
Dave's not here, man. Soylent is people.
Soylent Green is people. So, moving on, I want to say this now. I hate articles like this. I enjoyed the story for the most part. We got to a point that it started pushing buttons for me. I can't stand this kind of shit in the media. It's pushing hate. It's just fear mongering and race war baiting. It's the article. I can understand it for a good portion of it, but it got to that race point where I said this is retarded. But Amber Geiger was found guilty of murder when she shot her neighbor to death.
Okay,
Geiger
so this one is an update on a story we covered a while back. Like, I think this might have actually been a story we covered before you were on the show. But yeah, continue.
You sure?
Yeah, no, I'm
Okay.
Yeah.
But Geiger testified that after working long hours on September 6th, she returned to her apartment in uniform but off duty. When she approached what she thought was her apartment, she noticed the door was partially opened and saw a man inside she believed to be an intruder. She then fired her service weapon, killing him. So, according to the testimony, there was no escalation of force nor trying to defuse the situation. She saw somebody and opened fire. I can understand that to an extent because most people would do the same, but police officers are trained for situations like this.
Mhm.
The story also talks about their color a lot, making it known she is white and he was black. Well, apparently when she got home, she went to the apartment above hers, and I can understand that if she lives on like a second floor and there's a third floor apartment, because you'll zone out
Mhm.
on stairs and you're just trying to get to bed. But I mean, you're still a trained officer. Yes, you were working long hours and stuff like that.
And there's when we originally covered the story. See, I was having the same argument you were having when we originally covered the story, and it was kind of a big news topic at the time. And more stuff started coming down the pipeline. It's like, so she said that there was marijuana found in his house, and it was just a very small amount.
Really?
And dude didn't even use marijuana. It came down the pipeline that they were actually they had dated before, so they were ex lovers or whatnot and all that stuff.
Really?
And it just, lots of things started popping up, and then it just started seeming really fishy that she's a cop, she's trying to use that to her advantage to be able to say, oh, I accidentally went in the wrong house, thought someone was in my house, and I just fired however many rounds it was, and I accidentally killed him. She was thinking that her badge was going to protect her, and
they covered that in this. They talked about how cops are not often tried for shooting people, and very few of them are actually found guilty. They covered that as well. They didn't cover any of that dating, the weed, nothing in this article.
Mhm.
But 26-year-old John was sitting on his couch in shorts, watching TV and eating ice cream. I don't know what burglar is going to do that, but hey,
we've covered stories of people doing shit like that.
Again, common sense in me says that guy's probably where he's supposed to be, and you're not.
Yeah.
Jurors deliberated for less than 24 hours before they reached a verdict. The topic of race was not prominent in the case itself. However, after the verdict, S. Lee Martin, the attorney for John's family, called the murder conviction a huge victory for the victim's family as well as for the black people of America. Few police officers face a trial and even fewer are convicted. Another family attorney, Benjamin Crump, cited names of numerous unarmed African Americans who died by the hands of police. Allison Jean, the young man's mother, wore her son's favorite color to the stands, red. I don't know why they threw that out there for whatever reason. She then talked about her son and how pertinent he was to the family. Now, ex-officer Geiger is facing a life sentence in prison. When the courtroom doors opened, cheers of guilty, guilty, and Black Lives Matter could be heard throughout the courthouse. They literally turned. I mean, if this was any other way, if it was black on black, white on white, black on white, we wouldn't hear about this. It wouldn't be this big of a story because there's no pushing the race war agenda. There's no fear mongering. There's no turning the people against the police. But this, they literally took an incident and blew it well out of proportion. I think the lawyers were wrong in what they had stated. I think they should have kept this as professional as possible. I mean, not only that, the man was in his own house. So this was not like his hands were up kind of ordeal or anything like that. No, she walked in, her training failed her, she shot on sight. That's still the police officer's fault. She let training go out the window. She was unprofessional, unmaintained, and then didn't even check her surroundings effectively. No de-escalation of force, nothing.
Mhm.
So this was not a race problem. This was her being or her failing her training. I mean, what burglar is just going to chill on your living room watching TV with a tub of ice cream?
Mm,
There's been a couple stories where
Yeah.
people have come in and showered and made
Yep.
sandwiches
like
and
I was gonna say
sat
that
on their couches.
we have actually covered stories. Like there was one where a chick came broke into a dude's house, got in the refrigerator, pulled out a beer, made a sandwich, and then went into the guy's bathroom, took a shower, and got naked and laid down in his bed. Dude got home, found a beer and a sandwich on his counter, and was like, "What the fuck?" Went into his room, and there's a naked chick sleeping in his bed. It's like, thank you.
Drugs are a hell of a thing.
Right?
Jesus, Lord Almighty.
So at the beginning of the reporting of this story with this police officer and stuff like that, I did believe that it was more of a sleep deprivation type of thing. Because you guys even know that sleep deprivation,
It's real.
so many days in a row, especially,
Mm-hmm.
your brain is functioning like it's drunk. But I didn't have a full opinion on it and I haven't looked into it. But since you had said too, there has been a history with her and this neighbor,
Mm-hmm.
and all these now these little tiny details and sketchy things are coming out that it's like really, it doesn't seem as much an innocent mistake as they were trying to say it was before.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I'm wondering if they purposefully left that out of this article to push that agenda, that race agenda I was talking about more. I definitely want to see more about this story myself, because if what that is saying is true, she could be the jealous type. You broke my heart, I'm a break your life kind of ordeal.
And that's basically what it was like, kind of coming down to, as far like I said, when we originally covered the story, and it was like months ago that we covered it. Maybe it was like about a year ago, I think. But that's what it was basically boiling down to. It was like the evidence was starting to pile up. Like, she was just being a jealous ex and was like, "I'm gonna kill you and I can get away with it," kind of thing. So, and
How recent was this article that you found, Cameron?
this
Because I thought she got sentenced to 10 years.
this
No,
article,
they on this article they were saying it was she's facing a life sentence. This article was posted October 1st.
yeah. So in this article, we were supposed to cover this last week, but J Dub showed up. So yeah,
You
and
ran out the back door.
yeah. So, but
I can't believe I missed that shit. I was out of town. Like I said, when you guys were going on live, I was still climbing down the mountain. So, my bad.
hmm So, and then Dean says training should have told her to back out and call for backup. She was off shift. Yeah, exactly. But it's a scenario that she like we already we said, and then it obviously she was found guilty. So the jury said as well. It was a situation where she was expecting her badge would protect her, and
Yep, they posted that. Not only that, I just found an article. There's another one. White police officer who killed innocent black man in his home sent offensive texts. So I'm going to be reading this article after our show to find out. Again, never take an article by its name. You've got to read it. But that's not a very promising title for me to check out from the Washington Post.
So Dean Cerny said, "Didn't dude's brother get killed shortly after the jury convicted her?" I don't know. I didn't hear anything about that.
I don't think that that's the same case, Dean. I do recall seeing that the guy's brother did actually hug her after sentencing, as more of like a forgiveness type of hug.
Yeah. I saw that one as well, but Athen, you're gonna have to find that article for me as well. The one with the relationship as well. I'm trying to find it, but I'll have to find that after the show.
So,
That's because that throws in some more conspiracy and cover up factors in there.
hmm So I'll have to see if I can find it. We didn't do a very good job at keeping our stuff
Back
together
then.
like back then. So like now we have a chronological history of all our stuff that we're reporting on, but back then we didn't really do it the same way. So
Improvements are a good thing.
yep.
So, again, ladies and gentlemen, if you can find this case before us, talking about the weed or the relationship with the man, again, I have one that has texts. If you can find these, send them to us. We want to check them out. We want to cover the stories. Anything y'all want to cover, again, you can send us a request on our Facebook or whatever social media platform you want, or you can come into our Discord and you can post the article there and tell us, hey, I want you to cover this one. I want to see y'all's takeaway on this article next Sunday, whatever. So, again, reach out to us. We're here. We don't bite hard.
Well, I guess never mind. I won't.
Let it go, Elsa. Let it go.
Let it go. Let it
Dave's
go.
not here, man.
Speaking of letting it go, and Elsa, over 35 employees were arrested at
Nice
Disney World,
segue.
Florida, for alleged child rape offenses. The employees included management, a concierge, a tour guide, and a ticket seller. Meanwhile, Disney has downplayed the arrest, insisting that the theme park is so large that those arrested only count for 0.01% of its workforce. The toll of the arrests were made after a 6-month investigation. Several of the arrests were helped by social media and agents posing as underage children. Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd has dismissed the claims that his aggressive stings amount to entrapment. They also want Disney World to start using polygraph exams for working with children in situations like this. The mouse will try and hide this. The mouse does not like bad media at all.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is gonna
Being
get
a
buried.
Disney employee at the time. Damn, Dean. That's brutal.
Maybe. I mean, well, isn't Disney kind of tied into the whole family that like Epstein was tied into? I don't know a lot about all these names. Like the really old dude that everyone like, he's like 190 years old or some shit like that. That everyone's like, when's he gonna die? What's his name?
I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
anybody 190 years old.
Yeah,
Well, he's not literally
190
190 years old. I was being facetious.
Okay, well, that doesn't help us here.
Oh.
I mean, they still claim Walt Disney's frozen on ice.
I think he did actually have himself frozen, but it was, I mean, I'm gonna say that was a futile attempt at future cryo type stuff, but
Sure, if we thawed him, he'd have frostbite and fall apart. But the article itself covers multiple different people that were arrested. Several of them have already admitted to being guilty, and one of them even admitted he wanted to have oral relationships with a 14-year-old boy. So the mouse is trying to cover this up. They even talk about that several times in this, like they are not wanting this to get out, but it's such a small amount of people. That's still 35 of your employees that you have hired that did, as Ilan Omar said, some people did something.
mm-hmm.
They're
Some
still on
people-
your fucking payroll. You are still paying them to be around children, and you didn't do the fucking background checks that you should have done or followed up on it. So no, we're not going to keep your name
You
out
weren't
of the
watching-
fucking
yeah,
press,
you-
Disney.
You weren't watching your cameras. You weren't following up with safety protocol. You weren't sure of who you hired. You were letting these people just go around. This is as much your fault as their fault. And I hope you get sued and put in your place.
I
You
hope
are not
take a
invincible.
Big fucking hit over this shit because, it's always it's the dream to take your kids to go to Disneyland or Disney World.
And now
you
parents
have
are
to
going to be
worry about who's underneath that mascot and groping your kids or following them on social media.
For all we know, old Gropey Joe's in that mascot outfit.
Yeah, you're not gonna keep your fucking name Disney out of the fucking news because of this shit. Sorry.
Huh, I didn't know that. Apparently, Walt Disney was also dishonorably discharged from the military. I mean, we've seen their drawing designs. We've seen how they create characters, and a lot of them start off really raunchy.
Really raunchy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we know the mouse has already got some problems as is, but this is putting it like I used to enjoy Disney World, and hearing about this, I'd rather go to somewhere not there, like Six Flags. They even had one of the individuals was also a member, worked at Universal Orlando.
Really?
Yep. Let me see if I can find his name real quick. He was a chef, if I remember right. Disney and SeaWorld, one of the Universal, 23-year-old Matthew Cody Myers worked at Disney World, SeaWorld, and Universal.
Wait, let's make a land for pedophiles. Oh, Disneyland.
No, yeah.
Carpet bomb them.
Nah, we gotta get an island, man. We gotta put all the criminals on an island and just let them go. Stop feeding them. It's too expensive. It costs too much money to house and feed criminals for as long as they're there. If you've got a life sentence, you go to the island. If you got a death sentence, you go to the island.
Mm-hmm. Go to the island.
It costs $10,000 to put a death row inmate down. The chemicals cost $10,000. It's cheaper to keep them in the system.
I was just going to ask that. Have you heard about that? That it's actually cheaper to keep them alive on death, or not on death row, but keep them in prison for life than it is to actually go through with killing them all.
Yep.
The ones that have been sentenced to death.
I've
heard about it.
The Constitution.
You're on the mic.
Protects you. You know, you have. You know, you're not going to get a crappy death. Like, you're not going to get hung anymore because your neck might not snap immediately. You can't get the electric chair because, well, that one wasn't 100%. But you know what is 100%? A 22 round. Enough force to enter, not enough to exit. And it's cents. It's pennies on the dollar to buy them.
That works.
But I mean, a lot of prisoners, I mean, if they utilized them like some of the places where they go out, they have to do community service, they have to provide jobs, work, make license plates, do something to kind of contribute back to the people and back to the money. But a lot of them, they're just in prison. They're there, they're eating, they're exercising. Some of them have TVs. You know, yeah, you have a risk of getting shivved every day, but hey, you're still not having to do anything. So we can hear you tapping away there.
Sorry about that.
But it is so costly to keep them, maintain them, but it is even more expensive to put them down.
So, but
I mean, we put dogs down with when they bite children. Why not the same for pedophiles?
I'm not. It's an ethics thing, I suppose.
Just a thought. Ethan, we got about 5 minutes left. Did you want to cover your cosmic mudball meteorite that smells like Brussels sprouts, or your frozen earth and Snowpiercer could be an actual thing?
We can save those for next week. So we can go ahead and do our outro and sign off now.
Well, Justin McDay just joined up in time for us to say goodbye.
Hi, Justin.
Hi,
Jesus
Justin.
Christ, you're late.
Show up next time
Dude,
a
he
couple
still
hours
made
sooner.
Yeah, he's telling your friends about us. Again, we do have a shirt that we advertised last week. Please share, reach out to us if you have something you want. As I said earlier in the show, if you have something you want us to talk about, no matter what side it is, left, right, down the middle, we'll talk about it. Just got to send us that request. As
Join.
always, he's Ethan. She's Jade, surprisingly here today. I'm Cameron, and it's 1700 somewhere.